Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in on a beautiful Tuesday evening here on the Film Guy Network. It is National Signing Day Eve. All right, this was kind of like for extra scholars. This was for like your 5 stars. This was for your players that you just couldn't afford to wait around until July to get your hands on. This was for the elites of the elites. That was when 2017 was around, and it ain't 2017 no more. It's 2023. And about 95% of the nation's just elites of the elites will sign their name on the dotted line tomorrow, and they will turn that paper in officially. Don't ask me how the rules work on this. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you. It even confuses me nowadays. I have no idea how Ryan Puglisi, Justin Williams, all these guys are already on campus practicing. Ellis Robinson gets on campus today. I have no idea how this happens, yet they haven't announced officially that they have the letter of intent, which they will do tomorrow on the account, probably very, very early. I would imagine my alarms are set for like 6 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to see news drop all day long tomorrow morning of some guys that are already on campus. I don't know how it works, but what we do on National Signing Day is we do a super show every single year. We're going to give you a little tease of that tonight. Super excited to bring you that. But it is our National Signing Day preview show tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate and reviewing. We're going to get to all the ads and the sponsors here in a little bit. But I want to talk about the news of today for Georgia fans, which was that London Humphreys finally announced that he would be making his intentions known, going to transfer to the University of Georgia after a freshman year out there at Vanderbilt. This is a football player that, per my reporting and per my sourcing, is going to slide into whatever role it looks like at the Z position spot. And I know a lot of people will hear that, the football knowers and the certified ball knowers on this channel, they'll immediately say, ooh, that's connection to Ladd McConkey. That's the spot that he's been playing the last couple of years. I think they needed this addition to their roster with or without the decision of Ladd McConkey. I think he's leaning towards the league. We don't know 100% certainty. We haven't heard any type of announcements. We're pretty sure he's going to play in the Orange Bowl, but then again, we don't really know about that one because this is a football player that just finished up at much less than 100% in the SEC championship game against Alabama. So health is now playing a role in this decision. But despite all of that information I just gave you, this football player is going to come in and play the Z spot. I want to do a little something fun with you guys today. I always love when people do like resume A versus resume B. They make the audience choose which resume they like, and then they reveal the resume to the audience. We're going to do a little something similar tonight because I think when a lot of people see this commitment announcement, when they see this player that looks like this and his name is London Humphreys and he's from Vanderbilt, a lot of people are going to do the thing. All right, so we're not going to let you do the thing today. We're going to sell you on something completely opposite of the thing. So let's take it to the board. Look at my man's out there. Shouts out to the Buffalo. My man's over there running the cameras. I'm so daggone proud. All right, so let's get rid of this. All right, so let's put player A over here. All right, just draw a line, and let's put player B over here. Now, player A is a 10, 7, 800 meter runner. Player B is a 10, 5, 500 meter runner. Player A runs the 200 in 21:68. Player B runs the 200 in 21:67. So he's got about a hundredth of a second. Player A jumps the long jump in 24 feet and a quarter of an inch. Okay? Player B has him in that explosive metric by about 8 inches. Okay? He jumped 24 feet, 9 inches. All right, so on the surface of that, you would say player A is about 95% of an explosive athlete as player B, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so audience, people at home, my boys sitting here in the studio, what if I told you player A is 6'3" and player B is just at about 6'1"? What would you do then?
Take player A.
Absolutely, take player A.
Just over the 2 inches.
Yep.
Yeah.
Weight about comparable, about the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, player A is our boy London Humphreys. Okay, any guesses? No cheats. You already know the answer. Any guesses who player B might be?
Ladd McConkey.
No. Player B is actually the preseason All-American Malachi Starks.
Whoa.
Yeah, buddy. London Humphreys is about 96% of the explosive metrics as one Malachi Starks, who pound for pound was one of the most explosive and electric and athletic measurables and testing guys that the scouting world has ever seen. So much so they didn't even know what position the man was going to play in college, but was automatically labeled a 5-star because he was doing stuff like this.
So in other words, Georgia just got a dude at wide receiver.
I mean, here's the deal. The metrics say that, but there's a reason he was at Vanderbilt. And here's the reason. Not quite a refined route runner here yet. All right, but stupid measurables. Okay, all this stuff that defies quote-unquote lunch pail guys. Or, hard workers, or guys that are just grinders, real slot receivers, real possession-y guys. No, not this one. This one is an athletic freak, all right, when it comes to this stuff. How did he slide, though? That's my question.
Yeah.
Because any metrics like this coming out from like a metro city like in Atlanta, if you do this stuff at Grayson, I don't care if you're white, black, purple, or orange, you're going to go Power 5, all right, and big time. You're going to go to the SEC at 6'3". This was one that slipped through the cracks but didn't do it long because he had 470 yards as a true freshman. So, yeah, there you go. London Humphreys, tail of the tape, very, very explosive athlete. So there you go. I think people are going to be surprised by that.
Okay? I certainly was.
I know. I when I looked at it today and when I saw the 100, I was like, okay, buddy can roll.
Right.
When I saw the 200, I was like, oh, no. Buddy not only rolls, Buddy might be up here with like all of the super freaks with regards to the explosive metrics. And then you get that long jump number. That long jump number is elite. Anything over 24 feet is like, wow. And then on top of that, he's 6'4". Yeah, so some folks in the chat saying Arian Smith is faster. Arian Smith is faster. Yeah. He is. But Arian Smith doesn't have a career 20-yard reception or 20 reception season. No. He don't even have that. London Humphreys did that year one and did it really, really well. 22 receptions for 439 yards, averaged 20 yards a catch, and was freshman All-SEC. Going to spend the last 3 years of his college eligibility at the University of Georgia. And that's the really good thing about what they've done. Spin camera 3 back for me. What they've done, actually you can leave it there. We're going to go to the board in a second. What they've done in the transfer portal has been like not only dudes that they've played against, dudes that they know have been Power 5 good, but also guys that have multiple years of eligibility left. The only one that I can think of that they took, off the top of my head, maybe Lawrence Cager the only one and done? Eli Wolf stuck around for 2 or had the option to do so. Ra Thomas has 2. Dominic Lovett going to stick around for 2. The tight end from Florida State, McKitty, Trey McKitty left early. Okay, that was a guy that had an additional year as well. So I think there are some trends here with regards to only taking P5 retreads and only taking dudes with multiple years to really absorb what it is that they do there at the University of Georgia.
Yeah, the only other transfer that I remember Georgia taking that only stayed around 1 year, I can't remember if he had an extra or if he just left early or whatnot, but Maurice Smith, the defensive back in 2016, that's the only other one that I can remember.
That does sound like a one and done.
My big question with this is, like we were talking about earlier, London Humphreys, Ladd McConkey in that Z spot. How to you does that, I mean, it looks like you're not sacrificing. You might even be upgrading depending on what metric you're looking at. Yeah. The athlete, what does that difference in size, being at 6'3", what can they do in this Georgia offense out of that Z spot?
So it decreases the need for immediate separation, right? Mm-hmm. When you have this type of length, you can get balls at a much tighter coverage rate. What I think you lose is the ability to double move. Okay, Ladd wasn't this build speed guy. Ladd had both short area quickness and could go 0 to 60. Okay, so he had that top end speed with that short area quickness that allowed him to do all these double moves that you've seen them kind of not necessarily lean on to be explosive, but when they've needed explosives the last couple of years, they've called on Ladd to do these double moves. So I think what you might, take, you have added a vertical presence. I think the idea that, he's sliding in for Ladd, he is sliding in for Ladd, but he's also making up for all the stuff that you've missed out of the Arian Smith development. The fact that Arian Smith went, 10 games this year, not really being able to be trusted catching the football, okay, until they force-fed him. And once Ladd really got hurt and really banged up towards the end of the year, Tennessee really mixing him in, Georgia Tech mixing him in, and then you see in the SEC championship game, they finally dial up a deep shot for him. But this is going to be – now you become less tendency-laden, right? Where in years past, Ladd's on the field, hey, watch out for the double move. He might be able to take you deep, but the route tree is this. Okay, Arian Smith coming on the field, hey, watch out, going to run right by you. Now you have kind of an ability to do both with this, pick up in terms of London Humphreys.
So my question then is, do you think that them picking up a wide receiver, I know that there's been talk about maybe picking up another wide receiver for Georgia this offseason, like a Colby Young or something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
Do you think this is telling of maybe Georgia is going to step away from 12 personnel next year and they're maybe going to run a lot more 11?
So I think you would have stepped away from 12 for this reason anyways. People always said that Darnell was the reason you were playing 12 personnel. I would say the contrary. I think you were playing 12 personnel for so many years because Brock Bowers is he's such a good hybrid, such a good move tight end that if I have two tight ends on the field, if they're two lumbersome tight ends, you're just Kentucky. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care. It's not your 12 personnel is not stressing me. It's not. We talked about it before the Ohio State game about how are you going to count it, right? Are you going to count it 11? Or are you going to count it 12? Well, this toss-up in the air of what do we count it only was created because you don't know what to do with Brock Bowers. You don't know if he's a wide receiver. You don't know if he's a tight end. That was the stressor of the 12. So when that guy gets removed from the conversation, is Oscar Delp going to do those things? Is that where it's going to come from? Because Oscar Delp spent the last 18 months becoming a Y, like becoming a guy that can put his hand in the dirt. If you'd have told me Oscar Delp 2020 at 225 pounds running 4.5 flat, like, yeah, maybe that guy develops into what Bowers was in terms of a personnel count mismatch. But this guy right here, I don't necessarily know that if that's what it's going to be, but you're still going to be hey, short yardage, obvious rundowns where we might bump into 12 and stuff like that, because until you get one of those, now here's the deal. If Holden stays, a transfer tight end from Notre Dame, that's back to this move tight end category, right? That's one of these guys that moves like that. Elias Williams, when he gets there in 2025, that's a move cat. Ethan Barber, when he gets there in 2025, that's a move cat. Like, that's a guy that you can do all these stressors in 12 with. I think you're eliminating 12, but not eliminating. You're going to decrease the percentage points that you play it because you don't have that player right now on the roster. Okay. You got a bunch of Y guys.
Gotcha.
I think Lawson Lucky's the closest thing to the hybrid. I think Oscar Delp spent a long time becoming a Y. I think Pierce Spurlin's, he's a 4.8 guy. You know what I mean? This ain't no 4.4 guy. He's a 4.8 guy, mismatched, long, lanky, like gonna project into a traditional end of line tight, like a true standard Y. The H is missing. If Brock Bowers declares like we think he's going to for the NFL draft, the H-back is missing. Hey, welcome into tonight's show. We got a load one for you. It is our National Signing Day preview. We're going to give you a little taste of what we're going to be doing tomorrow for several hours. We have at least 3 hours. Might go 4, might go 5. Who the hell knows? We're going to be live tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock here on the channel. We are on our road to 20,000 subscribers. I think we're going to cross over 19.5 today. Get us over 20,000 before the end of tomorrow. I think that would be an awesome, little tip of the cap for the hard work because, it is culminating. All right. We got what, like 3 weeks before, not even that, 2 weeks before Georgia plays the final football game of their season. We're going to carry out the 4 shows a week plan all the way through the national title game. So we'll be here with you for then. And then we're going to coast off into the sunset and only give you 6 hours of content a week. So there's that. All right, that's going to start January. But until then, all right, get us to that 20,000 subscriber mark. We will love you for it. We're going to give you the latest on Walter Nolan tonight, play a little game of Guess the Lines, and we might give you an early preview of that 2020 SEC quarterback picture because it has become a little bit more clear over the last, 48 hours. I think over the last 48 hours, we've really gotten a feel for what that's going to feel like next year in the best conference in college football. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. If you use promo code Brooks today, you will get 100% deposit match. What does that mean? You run over to Prize Picks, you put up to $100 in your account, you will immediately get matched with $100 up to $100 right there. 100%. You put it in, they match it with that promo code Brooks over there on prizepicks.com. Also want to give a quick shout out to our friends at The Athletic Collection. All of the posters you see around this studio today can and will be made available over there on the The Athletic Collection. The link to the description or the link to that website is in the description of this video. It's also Christmas time coming up. I don't sell a lot of merch, but we do have merch. It is in the description. It's that Shopify little link there in the description of these videos. If you want to get some Shut Up and Grind the Tape merch for your family member and your loved one, feel free to do so. I think my mom and dad are the only ones that really be buying merch. But hey, if y'all want something, somebody mentioned putting a 2%er shirt. 2%er, and on the back says, I got a chooch. Because of the comment, somebody asked me, are you a 1%? I said, no, I'm a 2%er. You know what I mean? No whole milk here.
From a distance, though, it might look a little different on the back of your shirt.
That's fine. But
it might say, I'm a chotch from a certain
That's fine.
Right.
But it says, I got a chooch. Not I am a chotch. You know what I'm saying? I got a chooch.
All right. I think it's worth the play.
It's in preliminary research.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. We'll get to it.
What if we do Buffalo 2%er?
Ooh, I like that. Look, I don't know how we get the rights to the Buffalo though. Might be a little violation. Maybe we'll put the emoji. Well, surely Apple won't run us down for the emoji, but the Buffalo Bills will. The Buffalo Bills will definitely run us down.
For sure.
I mean, this thing is freaking sick, by the way.
It is.
I love this. Might be my favorite hoodie from now on. All right. I told you, we're going to tease the early National Signing Day preview. We do a Super Signage Day show. There's 30 commits nowadays. Is it down to 29 now with the flip?
28, I think.
28. Okay, 28 commits, whatever the number is. We've already done the big board metric score for the quarterbacks. We broke down both Raiola and Puglisi, put them through the scoring metrics, came out with a slightly better score for Puglisi than we did for Raiola. And people will say, oh, well, that's some Georgia guy getting a little hot about the decommitment. Not really. If you've been tracking the opinions from yours truly on the Elite 11, they kind of bore out that I favored the Puglisi eval slightly pretty much the entire time. So there's that. We also did the running back metric score. I kind of cut my teeth as an offensive lineman in college football. We're going to take a look at the offensive line today, which, by the way, I don't think there's any question, all right, that this is the best offensive line class that Georgia has signed under Kirby Smart. Now, there is some arguments to be made about, I believe, Isaiah Wilson, Andrew Thomas, Saul McKinley, all being in the same class. Maybe even Jamari Sawyer. But no, Jamari Sawyer's the year after that. But if you want to make a case for that one, you've got the results. You've got 50-50 hindsight. You can do all that. But this is why I wish sometimes we could go back, or we didn't have the hindsight of knowing confirmation bias, what they would be. I wish I could teleport to 2019 and put an eval on Andrew Thomas. I really do wish I could, because I don't know where I would have been, right? He would have been at Pace Academy, and I'm going to tell you right now, I would have got a pretty good look at that dude. And based off looking at some of the history of my offensive line notes, getting an in-person eval makes me a little bit less accurate for some reason on these offensive linemen. I was telling you guys earlier, in person, if I say the guy sucks, he normally sucks. But if I absolutely love the kid, the hit rates on this are not high. All right, but if I love the kid from a distance, almost 100% hit rate. We'll talk about it after we go through some of these things, but let's take it to the board. Let's make sure we're hot. I think we're hot.
Yeah, you're hot.
We're hot. All right, so here's what we got. We got a scoring metric system, as we always do. Boys, we're going to see tonight, we're going to pull a Scott Hansen effort with regards to holding the bladder. It hit me like a pregame pee as soon as the countdown clock went. So we're going to see if we can hold that bladder today. Here we go. We got frame. It's always in there, right? How big, how tall, how long, what's it going to project in, how you holding it, how you carrying it, all that good stuff. That's going to be a big category for us tonight, all right? Physical readiness, not only how big and how tall are you, how long are you, but what's it looking like? How's it carrying, right? And what does the play strength look like? For young offensive linemen, how well you hold up in pass pro with regards to bull rushes. How well can we uncoil our hips against lesser than defenders? These types of things, they pop on tape, they show up on tape. We will give a physical readiness score on all of these athletes tonight. Speaking of athletes, hey, I know it's offensive line scoring metric today, but athleticism matters, baby. You got to be able to move nowadays, despite the fact that these dudes are recruiting nothing but Jolly Green Giants in this recruiting class, all right? How well do you bend, baby? I got to see you bend. Ankles and knees. I don't want to see hip benders. Send me back to one. Let's talk about this tonight, all right? Hey, ankles right here. Knees right here. I want to see you bend this way. I don't want to see you bend this way. That is the difference. We are not girls at the club. We're offensive linemen trying to get Scallies out in this bitch. All right, so we do not want to see benders at the waist. We want to see benders at the knees and the ankles. It will get our chest and our pads up underneath. Everybody will operate us like a forklift, not like a whatever you want to call this. All right, we don't want to be that. We want to be a forklift. All right, technique, that's an easy one. All right, that speaks for itself. That'll also help our readiness score in general. If we got good technique, we're going to look like we're physically ready because we're not in bad spots. Effort. All right, effort and violence are two different categories for me. Violence shows up. It's thunderous. It's lightning. It's boom. It's explosive. On this offensive line tape, if you are laying on people, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to like you. If you are exploding through people, if you are popping off tape, if it's palpable. If I could sit in this room for 1,000 miles away and get just, the willies, get juiced up because you absolutely killing folks, that's the type of violence we want to see. Effort, totally different category, right? I could push somebody 30 yards down the field, whistle blows, that's great effort. I could throw a guy 30 yards down the field, finish on him, punch him in the damn face, that's violence. There's two differences, right? Both are needed. We're going to grade both tonight. All right, and then the ceiling counts twice, as always. All right, I'm going to go through this list in the order in which they are ranked on the 24/7 composite, and at the end, I will give you my rankings as we do these, okay? Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, rate, reviewing. If you can't already tell, if you're a new viewer tonight, we do things slightly different around here. Go ahead and send me the 3, baby boy. Here we go. We're going to start with Daniel Calhoun. Now, Daniel Calhoun does not have a senior full clip tape. What he does have is tape against him in certain specific football games, like the one here from Carrollton. He is the left tackle, all right, and he is monstrous. He is 6'6", 365 pounds. And what I saw a lot this year and what I did not see a lot on tape prior years is a lot of shoulder twisting. Okay, he got called for a hold in the state title game. Guys, this looks violent. This looks great. We're snatching people down. We're getting a quote-unquote cake. But this ain't happening at the next level. We're not going to be able to grab somebody by their shoulder pads and just forklift them. Just push and pull them, all right? Guys are A, probably going to get you for a hold, but B, the shit just ain't flying. It's not going to happen on the next level. What is going to happen is what we're talking about. I want to see hips. I want to see everything come through. I want to see the defender finish on his back with you on top of him. That is a high school cake. This is not. This is twisting and turning. This is leverage. This is good hand placement. It's all that good stuff. It's also simultaneously a hold in some conferences, okay? He also did this thing where he zoomed in for us. You get a better look at it right here of what I'm talking about, okay? Hand placement is fine. I don't mind that we're up underneath the elbow or up underneath the armpit. We got him in the right spot. Now, can we just run our feet and uplift this guy instead of yanking, twisting, and snatching? Okay, yanking, twisting, and snatching does not play. Uncoiling our hips does. All right, that is the difference there in those two, or those two things that we want to see with regards to these offensive linemen. Let's take a look at this next clip. One thing, Evan, you can speak to this because you've seen this guy play. Pad level the last 18 months has been a major concern for me.
Major.
And this is a clip of it right here. Like, we're not getting up underneath football players. And this is something that I've talked to SEC coaches about. I've talked to SEC offensive line coaches about, saying, hey, coach, I hate the pad level. I don't like it. It bothers me. We're not bending at the knees. We're not bending at the ankles. It's a concern. Are you concerned about it? And the number one thing I get told all the time is, well, he's playing 6-foot defensive ends. He's going to be playing 6'4" defensive ends. We got 4 inches of leverage to play with. And I'd say, okay, well, let's go watch the Neyer Daniels tape here in a couple minutes. Because Neyer Daniels at 6'8" is getting up underneath some bitches. All right, so I want to see some bending. I don't see a lot of bending. I see a lot of standing up. All right, and I see a lot of guys playing up underneath our pads with some good feet drive. All right. One thing I will say about Daniel, he is a finisher. He will fight to finish every time you watch him. If he's got somebody leaning, he's going to win. He's going to bury. We're not watching defensive line tape. No offense, big fella. We're going to skim right through that. All right, here's some more offensive line stuff right here. Hey, the other thing I will say about him, all right, this don't look it, but I've seen him camp for years and years and years. He works out with Josh Richardson. The pass protection angle of this evaluation, clean as a daggum whistle. You're going to have no problems. The only concern I might have is short edges, right? With somebody that's a little bit overweight, if you make a play as a true freshman like Caden Proctor at Alabama this year, you're going to give up. You're going to be very susceptible to speed rushes. This is something that I would worry about Daniel right here. But you can see it in the eval. You can see it on the film. all of the excess weight right now is being carried in the midsection. All right, it's not being carried in the lower body. It's not being carried in the upper body. It's being carried right here. And when you're evaluating, when you're projecting a guy going to the University of Georgia, those are things you shouldn't necessarily worry about, because if anything, they can't keep weight on kids. They run the piss out of these folks as soon as they get to college football. Okay, I don't know why this is on the clip. We had a ghost rusher, and we ended up helping inside, doing so not very violently either. All right, you're a 6'7", you're 365 pounds. All right, if this is on the clip, we better be washing this all the way down. All right, this ought to be clothesline central. We ought to be taking this dude and running him over there. All right, now I know this is a singular game highlight. This is not a full season highlight, but that's kind of the point, right? In fact, I feel like sometimes we get a better eval on players like this, and watching 8 minutes of one football game as opposed to watching 8 minutes of one season, okay? Because they can hide a little bit more of the eval, okay? They can definitely hide a little bit more of the eval. Like some of these guys we're going to watch tonight, we're going to watch full season highlights of their junior year. All right, so that's a little bit less open for criticism than something like what we're watching here tonight with Daniel. Something I should take into account when I rescore these things, before February, when things are official. It's the same kind of thing I'm talking about right here. I think we get a closer angle of it. This is what I'm talking about when I say we're just playing too high. I don't want to see this. I saw a lot of this year. I know we got the clip late, but this is Daniel, okay, pushing the guy back towards the line of scrimmage because the man has slipped up underneath him, all right, and captured an edge on him. The only way we don't allow this to happen is if we play with our shoulders and our chest square and our shoulders and our chest up. So whenever he darts us, hey, we're right in front of him. We're not leaning any way like this, all right? And I think some of this can be a byproduct of his want to finish, right? His want to really, put guys on their back. But sometimes it leads us to playing really high and almost lacking like an intensity to him, particularly going to the second level, okay? I can show you the Centennial tape from last year, and it just doesn't feel this way. Did you watch the Centennial tape from last year?
No, I agree.
A lot of counter. A lot of counter stuff that he's actually doing, like he's moving like an athlete and finishing violently, popping off the tape. Mm-hmm. Not lumbersome, right? This feels like sledgehammer, not hard and sharpened axe.
And
you know what I'm saying?
I think to be fair to Daniel in some sense, that was kind of the Walton running game in a sense.
Yeah.
Like they had a big back going to Memphis. That was, and like downhill was their thing. Centennial, it was more about Daniel being misdirection. Yeah. Let's get him out in space, but that isn't 100% fair thing that I saw as well.
I'm not going to say he got worse. He did not get better from junior to senior tape, and that concerns me. All right, concerns me to an extent. All right, let's put him through the grading system. All right. So I already wrote these down. You guys can feel free to disagree. That's what you are here for tonight. We got frame. All right. We got readiness, physical readiness, that stands for. Okay. We got bend. All right. We got athleticism. All right. We got violence. We got effort. Those two things are separate. Okay, but similar. Separate but similar. All right. We got technique. Okay, and we have his ceiling. Ceiling counts twice. Everybody understands why, because we are projecting here. All right, so his frame at 6 foot, his official measurements, all right, are 6'6" 1/4", 365 pounds. That's what we measured in at when we enrolled. So I'm going to give that frame, all right, that frame for me, based off everything I know about it, how it's carried, what's got to be moved, right, I'm going to give it a 4.65. All right, any taller, by the way, a full 5 on this scale is Amarius Mims. If he's 6'8", 335 pounds with very little body fat coming out of high school, he a 5'0". All right, everybody else, we're going to start knocking. All right, just to let everybody know what that looks like. All right, physical readiness. I think he's some weight loss away, some serious weight loss away, some serious jumping of the rope away from being physically ready to play at the offensive tackle position. All right, which all 5 of these guys, or all 6 of these guys that we're going to evaluate tonight are listed as offensive tackles. Now, you have to understand that. Somebody's getting kicked in. And the physical readiness from an athletic standpoint right now is withholding him, in my opinion. Now, the bend. I know it's there. It's very akin to the rail stuff we're talking about. I know it's there, but there are some physical hindrances right now that do not allow us to play with the proper pad level that we are supposed to. I gave him a 4.0 right there. Now, the athleticism, same thing. I love the junior tape. The junior tape tells me big man twitch. The junior tape tells me everything I need to know about what could be about this football player, but that is not what is currently presented on tape. That is not what is currently presented on the in-person eval, okay? But overall, he's a big man mover. We're going to put a 4.0 on that one as well. All right, violence. I think this dude is violent. I think when he puts his hands on you, when he gets you squared up in the chest, he's got heavy hands. It's, the eval for that on me with the extension of the hands, how they show up, looks very akin to Ernest Green from last year. They're violent, they're heavy, they're powerful. Okay, the effort. This is something that it was so intriguing to me. The Centennial stuff blew me away. All right, the willingness and the fight to finish was on almost every single practice rep. I went and watched him in the spring. Dude was elite, was out here grinding. Not what we saw at practice at Walton. I think that is fair to say.
Yeah.
Okay, fair to say that is not what we saw at Walton this year. And we're not going to sit here and sugarcoat everything. I'm going to give you another 4.0 on your effort. Now, technique. This dude is extremely, extremely clean. All right, the only thing I don't like, we talked about, was the pad level in the run game. But in terms of a pass protector, you're not going to have much to coach up here. Again, Josh Richardson, when they come out of velocity up there in the Northwest, they're as clean as they can possibly be. All right, in the ceiling, I got a 4.75. I think this dude has the ability to be absolutely everything he wants to be at the interior offensive guard spot. I think this dude has NFL offensive guard written on him, and he can stay at 330 pounds. If that's going to be a problem, if we can't get him down to 305, 310, which is really that range most NFL coordinators or most NFL evaluators want their guys to be. Just to let you know, this totals, and I want you guys to write down the totals tonight. This totals 4.35. All right, a 4.5 is a quote-unquote 5-star evaluation for us. All right, so there you go. A 4.35 for Daniel Calhoun, our first evaluation of the night. And we are way behind already, all right? A little long in the tooth. All right, we're going to Marquise Easley next. Now, the notes right here say this is the closest thing we got to Broderick Jones in this class. In terms of, and y'all just, this is why I kind of set it up this way, but I set it up off the rankings. We just watched that tape, right? Lumbersome, big, you see all the ability in the world. Watch this tape. I mean, as soon as the son bitch comes on the screen, watch how much different this is. Okay? This is Marquise Easley. He's listed at 330 on the tape right here. I'm telling you, he 350. All right, he 350. He gonna be on the we gotta run some weight off crew along with Daniel, but immediately you're gonna see some explosion. You're going to see some fireworks. You're going to see some bang. You're going to see some dudes laying on their face saying, owie, I don't know if I want to play football no more. All right, you're going to see a lot of this. You're also going to see a lot of counter. You're going to see a lot of big man moving, a lot of big man twitch, okay? And he's a little bit knee knocked, but he's going to take 2 every time he gets there, and he's going to violently finish. Okay, this is what we're talking about, the difference between effort and violence. That's 2 clips of it right there, the violence and the effort. It wasn't just some pushing a guy to the echo of the whistle. No, that's I'm trying to kill the guy to the echo of the whistle. There is some weight gain. Like I told you, the junior tape is real special. The senior tape, it's noticeable. We put some weight on in our frame. But I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you right now, that's effort. That's not the violence, but that's the effort we're talking about, right? This is a different mover, and this is a football player who looks like he has the potential to remain at the tackle position, all right, where he is playing in high school football. This looks a little bit differently. Good God Almighty. This looks a little bit differently than what we just watched. Watch him punch the light side of this linebacker as he comes to the next level. Hit number 3 for me and just give me a little zoom for those audience members right here on the board. I know it's a little dark. Don't take me out of the screen, but give them a little something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then give me a little toggle down on the stick, just a tad. Ooh, yeah, buddy. You getting it now. Let's run this back just a little bit. Watch the violence right here, what we're talking about. This is a dude that's going to shock you, okay? It's going to hurt. He's going to land on top of you. He's going to roll over you, and he's going to talk some shit too, okay? I want to see that, right? That's what we're talking about, man. I told you, offensive line tapes, if you're going to be a Power 5 guy, they should look like this, man. It should be 10, 15 yards down the field. It should be, I'm killing folks for 4 quarters. We should have to walk over there and tell you, hey, bro, chill the fuck out. That's what it ought to be. We should have to do that every single football game and withhold you from being a little bit too violent, because this is a sport at the next level that requires all of this. I mean, Jesus. Yeah, dude, it's some crazy stuff. Again, I've already told coming in a little bit overweight. This is him playing left guard, actually, in this system right here. I believe there's been a lot of clips of this, but that's what I'm talking about. The get off, the violence, the uncoiling of the hips, all the stuff right here. The only question mark, guys, that I have on this evaluation, tad bit knee knocked. And you guys know I'm a proponent for the bow-legged family. All right, I am a member, staunch card holder of Team Bow Leg. All right, but this is a little bit knee knocked right here. But hey, what are you gonna do? 6'5.5", 350 pounds, and moves like he's supposed to. Okay, I'm thinking that the more and more I watch the tape, that this is a guy, once he gets trimmed down, this is a left tackle projection for me. Okay, this is a guy that I think is going to have a chance. He's going to have a chance maybe to play on Sundays at the left tackle spot. Again, presuming that the weight ultimately comes down. But you see the difference, man. And again, I know we're watching a full game clip versus a highlight clip, but even the heights of the heights from Daniel this year were not that violent. They were laid upon. They were grinded out. I had a guy leaning. I ran my feet. We landed on top of him, that kind of stuff, with an elite pass protection skill set. That's not what you're going to see from this guy. We don't see a ton of the pass protection game because I'm going to tell you right now, this is a road grader right now in high school. This is a great athlete that's out here dominating high school football players. Let's get to the score, all right, and let's go ahead and start getting after it. Here we go. The frame, I'm giving it a 5.0, or excuse me, a 4.0 or 4.5. Okay, he's 6'5", he's 350 pounds. There's some weight that needs to be trimmed. The arm length isn't exorbitant, like it's not crazy, but it's not short. He's just a quote unquote average guy in this class. Think about that. Average, below average, honestly. 6'6", 350 pounds. He's lighter than most in this class, or a little bit heavier than most in this class, not as long as most in this class. All right, physical readiness. Guys, when I see violence, when I see electricity, when I see pop in the pads, I think you're going to be ready. I also think he's athletically ready enough to at least stay in front of people if that's what it's going to come down to. I put his physical readiness score at a 4.45. All right, on to our next one, athleticism. I'm going to tell you right now, he's probably going to be the best athlete we evaluate tonight at a 4.85. All right, I think he moves better than anybody else, especially considering what it's going to be when he ultimately gets the weight down. Now, the technique is where Marcus is going to take a little hit. We don't see any pass protection. And I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't see it, there's work to be done. There is 100% work to be done because you just don't have the reps at it, even though you have the skill set at it. We're going to put it at a 3.85 right there because even like, hey, the footwork, feet get real tight when he's driving downfield. There's some certain things that need to be cleaned up, and you can tell it off of tape. I think the effort is there, guys. I think when we watch it on tape, I think it's there. A 4.85 on the effort, and I left out the violence score, all right? The violence score, we saw that there as well. I'm going to put those even at 4.85. And then the ceiling. Guys, I love this prospect. I think this guy's going to be a freak athlete. I think he shows that ability on tape. Again, once we get the weight down, I think he's going to be a really, really great football player. I put him at a 4.80. Now, that counts twice. That gives him an average of 4.53. So he is a, quote, 5-star on Brooks's big board, and he's a good one. What do y'all think about Marquise Easley quickly before we switch?
I mean, you got to love the violence from an offensive lineman. When you watch tape and you see things like that, I mean, that's what you want, especially when he's talking crap, he's doing his thing. Like, that's what you want. You want big, nasty dudes, especially in the SEC, so got to love that.
This is someone that I know maybe 13 months ago Tennessee was in on and that I had to evaluate at the beginning of the year. Off the junior tape. So I've seen this before. And all those things are like the physicality jumps off tape, effort level, violence, all that jumps off tape. My big thing was, again, like, there was some stuff we didn't see. Yeah. Like, and the competition back in Daniels' favor or some of these other guys, it isn't what, like, this is 7A Georgia high school football.
And even what some of the stuff we're going to see from Neyer Daniels, some of that New Jersey Bergen Catholic schedule, like there's some big boys that they're playing. Right. You're correct. This is Illinois football. This isn't like the heights of the stuff, but this athlete is. This guy came in, tested, moved exceptionally well at the University of Georgia. 4.53 for him right there. Let's go on to our next one. Who we got? Michael Unai. Is that where we're headed next? Yes. We are. We are headed to Michael Unai. Now, our first projection of the night, or our second, rather, projection of the night that I think is an offensive guard on the next level because of the athleticism that I believe is a little bit lacking. And you're going to notice this off of tape, especially considering the last guy that we just watched. Now, the first clip is him murdering someone out in space. I think we get the all-22 clip of it right here. But here's what I'm talking about. There's some general hesitancy in Michael's game right now. When we watch him approach the second level, watch how he really feels as if he's got to gather himself. There almost seems to be a little bit of hesitancy right there. You see the pitter-patter, even our hand strikes a little bit non-existent. And here's the other thing, a big head leaner from Michael. All right, when he hits first, that's the first thing he does. We're right here every single time. Now, he's 6'8". He's 335 pounds, 340 pounds. There's really no need to lean like this unless there's some tightness elsewhere in our body. Unless we're tight in our ankles, unless we're tight in our knees, unless we're tight in our hips, whatever it allows us to get up underneath the football player, we feel like we have to overcome by dipping our head. I'm telling you right now, this is going to lead to A, neck problems. That's the primary concern. But B, you can't hit what you can't see. And this right here is not seeing. We're not seeing that guy. We're just moving towards that guy. Love the finish, all that good stuff. Love the violence. Love the frame of this football player. But what you're also going to see, I can tell you right now, I haven't met this guy. I haven't seen this dude in person. But I see some fat ankles. And y'all know how I am about fat ankles. I see fat ankles and I see lack of calf development off of the film right here. And that's fine. He's 6'8". All right, but he might be a guard based off what I'm watching because that's what I'm looking for. Guys, when you see NFL football players that play the tackle position from the knees down, they look like power forwards. Like they're like sticks from their knees down because they're super twitchy. They're super athletic at 330 pounds. We'll see. Again, there you see some of that hesitancy. I think that's the same clip from earlier. Matter of fact, I guarantee you that's the same clip from earlier. We got an all-22 cut of it. All right, where are we at here? We're up here at the top of the screen. We're going to see some effort right here. That's effort, right? With a little bit of violence towards the end. We're going to lay on him. I like to see that. We're going to get a little violence bump on the score scale there. Where are we at right here? We just saw Mans just get pushed out of the screen from the left side. Look like a down block maybe on counter right here on this next play. Yeah, he's over here, so not necessarily a great clip from a cutting perspective right there from our guy, Big Mike. All right, where are we at next? Here he is at left tackle. Don't hate the stance. Don't hate the stance. It's a vertical pass setting stance. Ooh, okay. Little Tyler went back and said, Mama, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Poor little Tyler. Is that number 6? Nah, it's number 30. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. That's unfortunate, big fella. That's unfortunate. Here we go. We over here at left tackle. Okay, hey, cut the clips a little bit better. Coach, whoever did this, cut the clips a little bit tighter. Okay, we are an efficient program around here. We only spend 20 minutes on one player. Good finish right there. Again, we have all 22 of some stuff. Why don't we get the all 22 of all this stuff? If you're an offensive coach, we got to rant on this because this is one of my biggest pet peeves in life. If you are a high school football coach and you are providing just terrible cut-ups for your football players, shame on you. If you have terrible film, if you can't get a dad of the booster club to sit in the end zone with a tower, y'all can't get up $100 to rent a scissor lift to put in the end zone every Friday night. That's like 4 parents chipping in $25. If you can't do that to provide good film for your players, you are doing a disservice to them. Also, coaches, in my personal opinion, if you're too, for lack of a better term, scared or worried about your opposition stealing something from you, so much so that you won't allow your offensive lineman all 22 tape to give out to college coaches, you are doing a disservice to your football players. Because I'm telling you right now, I would know a whole hell of a lot more about Mike if I was looking at his ass the whole time. Amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Corners, I can't evaluate a damn corner to save my life.
Good luck
out
with
here
safeties.
doing my job.
Good luck with safeties.
I'm fine with it. Like, at least with the safeties, I watch them run the alley and stick.
Right.
I can at least, like, hopefully see them in the play the whole time. Corners, I ain't know shit. I don't know nothing. You're out of the screen as soon as it happens. Good effort right here. Good effort right here. I love the effort on this film. Matter of fact, while we sitting here, I might be checking the effort level on this. Nope. He's our highest effort level scorer of the night, so I did it right. He's out here balling. He's out here trying really, really hard. Not a lot of twitch, though. Lumbersome, right? It's really pulling to get his feet up in and out of the ground. It's not fluid, though that is hello. Look, I talked to an SEC coach that I trust thoroughly. You got to touch him rule. And here's this got him, touch him rule. When a player scores, oh my God. When a player scores, if you don't go touch him in the end zone, he's right here. If you don't go touch him in the end zone, you don't care. You don't love him enough. You don't love this enough. That's the same clip we just saw, but from a tighter view. Yeah, dude. He cares. He cares. He plays hard. Okay? Plays really, really hard. I think what I need to bounce up is the violence. But even some of this stuff, man, it's not like, you know what I mean? He gets there, he finishes hard. We're gonna have a debate on this violence score because I think it would really impact the final score on this metric for him. Okay? All right, so let's break it out. Frame. He is 6'7", 336 pounds. That is a 4.85, ladies and gentlemen. That's about as good as it gets. And it looks really, really good. The athleticism we could talk about, but from a full build standpoint, not a lot of movement that you're going to have to make. Physical readiness. All right, this is a guy that plays Texas high school football. I think he's a 4.0, okay? In my notes, he's big, he may be strong, but he's timid. And that's my fear right now. Some of that second level stuff that we saw, boy, you're going to get your soul taken. You're going to get your soul taken on the next level from a linebacker who just don't give a shit about none of that stuff. He's going to run right through your face. So we got to get better in that category. Athleticism, I think it's the one hindrance in this athlete. And he's really, really big, so we're going to give him a 4.25 because he still moves it and efforts through it at 6'8", almost, 6'7". I think the new measurements are 6'8", by the way. The bend, I think part of this athleticism comes from some tightness. Okay, so we're going to bump that down just a little bit here as well. I got a 3.75 on the bend scale after watching all of the film today, not just what we showed you. The violence. We saw the effort level. All right, my initial score on the violence was a 3.5. I'm going to bump it all the way up to a 4.0, which means I'm going to need a calculator broken out here in just a second because my score has since been altered upon a second viewing. The effort. Guys, I think we're going to see from him that he was the highest effort level player of the night. I got him at a 4.9. I honestly contemplated, because I believe in the fight to finish so much, that the singular player in every single class that shows obvious higher levels of effort than everybody else on tape should automatically get a full 5.0. I thought about making that rule in the notes, but we might have to come back to it because he wins it. I'm going to tell you, we only got two or three more tapes. He plays harder than anybody else on the film. So his effort, 4.9. Ceiling. Okay, I think this dude's got a tremendous opportunity to be a really, really high-end guard, depending on what the athletic projection looks like, maybe a right tackle. I'm going to put a 4.7 here. We're going to count that times 2. Rally that up for me there, Evan.
4.39.
4.39. From a 4.23 to a 4.39 for Michael Unai. We got a pen over here? I got to write that down. Give me that. Thanks, bud. We said 4.39 for Michael Unai. All right. A great story on him, by the way. I told this when right before he originally made his commitment announcement. This was a football player, guys, that on his official visit, Friday night, about 10:30, they couldn't find him. Didn't know where he was. Couldn't know that everybody was out eating dinner, doing all the festivities and stuff. They could not find Michael Unai. Coach Searles was like, hey, somebody just go to the hotel. Maybe he's at the hotel. Maybe he's just sitting in his room, being an introvert. We got kids like that on the roster every once in a while. Maybe he's just doing an introvert thing. They go to the team hotel, and he is in the midst of just an absolute cardio session, soaked from head to toe, had been running on the treadmill for a few hours. We'll take that joker. Yep. We'll take that joker immediately right there. A tremendous intangible eval note right there on Michael Unai. And guess what? 4.90 effort level on the tape. Everything's checking out on that eval. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go on to our next one. Here we go. Who we got next? We got our guy Neyer Daniels. Spoiler alert, this is my dude right here. All right, if I'm going in on one, I'm going in on this one. All right, if I'm going to swing big, I'm going to swing big on this joker right here. This dude, listen to this. This dude is 6'8", 375 pounds. He's got like 87-inch wingspan, maybe 88. I think it's absolutely absurd, okay? And like 37-inch singular arm length, okay? This is as big, as broad, as long, as everything as any human being you will ever evaluate on this channel, period. You got a look on your face like you got something to say.
I'm doing math. It's like a 7'3" wingspan.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely nuts. It's absolutely crazy out here what we're about to watch. And by the way, we talked about it. Offensive line tape better be electric, right? I don't care how big and fast you are. I don't care how big and tall you are. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care if your offensive line or offensive tackle is projected to play center. I better see some pop. I better see some explosiveness. And watch this, baby. This is all of it from day one, from snap one. As soon as you see the tape, it's like, my God. Watch this right here. This is a screen pass. Okay, he's going to get out in space. He's going to run. He's going to identify a corner, and he's going to murder him. Okay, all right. Look at the movement skills out in space. 375 pounds. 375 pounds. Moving like that. Bergen Catholic, New Jersey high school football. My man out here playing in front of nobody but teammates. All right, and he balling. All right, you're gonna see it here again. Again, 6'8". Don't tell me about pad level. I don't really care. All right, I don't want to listen to, oh, he's gonna play 5'10" guys now, but he's gonna play 6'7" guys the next year. The pad levels here, I don't love the twisting and the turning. We talked about that with a couple of the other guys. All right, but most of this tape is him forklifting, right? He got up underneath that football player. The look on your face was me the whole time, Evan, because 6'8" guys ain't supposed to do this. 6'8" guys are not supposed to play with this type of pad level, this type of aggression, this type of twitch off the ball. The get off on these plays is nuts. He just left a dead body on the field over there. The dude's helmet came off. You want to talk about violence? Yeah, I'll knock your teeth out right quick. Okay, so there is a whole lot of boxes getting checked by Buddy right here. I think this is the definition of big twitch to me. Like, everything he does looks like fireworks. Everything he does looks like explosive shit. I, for the life of me, can't figure out what I'm seeing that other people are not. Because this dude isn't a 5-star tackle. This dude isn't top. Look him up. Look him up. I do not believe this guy's got like 5-star ratings. I think this guy's like the 3rd rated player in this class at the offensive tackle position. I think they have Daniel Calhoun rated higher than him.
Dude,
they have
he's the number 217 player in America.
Number 217 player in America. He's 6'8", 375 pounds. And he's out here putting tape on like this.
He's the number
like
20
this.
offensive tackle.
Number 20?
They think there's 19 tackles better.
They're
than him.
high. They're high off their ass. This football player right here is a dude. All right, he's gonna be a guy. Oh my God.
Oh my.
He's gonna be a guy.
Yeah.
20th offensive lineman.
He's not even the best player in the state of New Jersey on these rankings.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, baby. I don't know what people are seeing. I don't.
I do. This is like arousing for offensive line coaches.
To me, maybe it's a. I mean, look at that. He just took 2 right there. Okay, maybe it's a. You go. You've seen the photos of him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. Maybe people just think he's fat. I don't know, but they're not watching tape.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Maybe,
I don't care.
I don't care. Look at the tape. Ooh, jab step right there too. Look at this. Okay, we want to talk about technique. This is good technique on both of these clips. I want to run both of them back. All right, so here, guys, he's got an inside veer release on the defensive end. If we can clip him, that's great. But we want to force an inside release on this guy, and then we want to play with our hips inside on this linebacker as well. So we're really trying to deke 2. We're trying to get this defensive end to hold the line of scrimmage, right, while also having to shrink after we inside veer release him, and then still get up to that front side inside linebacker that's got stacked alignment on that defensive end. So watch this. Boom. He's going to get work inside leverage, all right, get up through the linebacker and then fire and shock his hands as well. And then this clip right here, watch the jab step off the snap. Boom. He's going to stick his foot in B gap to make sure we don't have any threat, and then he's going to attack the speed rush that he's getting from this defensive end and just swallow it whole, because you're not going to run around this guy. He's 6'8". He's got 87-inch arms. You're not running around him. You're just not, okay? So there's that in this evaluation as well. And look at the pad level, guys. I'm talking about forklifting. This is what I want. I want to see your head up, or your shoulder pads and your eye level up underneath theirs, and I want to see you uproot that defensive end or that defensive lineman from his spot, okay? I love to see this. Hey, check it out. Watch him lean in, Evan. These are the keys. Y'all want to know why I think I am who I am? Because of these little things right here. All right. Watch him. Watch him at left tackle. Watch him lean down. Right now, he's talking to his left guard. All right. What do you think he's doing?
He's adjusting the protection.
No, he's confirming assignment.
Oh.
He's confirming assignment so he doesn't bust. He's making sure, hey, are you out? That's all he asked him. Hey, are you out? Are you out? And he said, yeah, I'm out. Because he's pulling. The offensive guard right here is pulling out. So this tackle, all right, in Neyer Daniels is confirming assignment before the play happens. All right, these are just things. Now, ideally, you never have to do them, but these are little things that I'm looking for as an evaluator to make sure, okay, you give a shit, right? You care. You care enough to ask. You care enough to get your assignment corrected before the ball is snapped. Have you guys seen enough?
I think so.
Dude, I needed 3 clips.
Thank you. That's all I need, baby. I don't need 5 minutes. I don't. If you're a dude, I know in the first 3 clips. Great point right there, Evan. All right, let's do it. Frame. All right. This is a full 5-0. How could we not? Actually, the only thing I might be concerned about is weight loss. He's 375 pounds, but like, god dang, he's 6'8". He's got plenty of ability to spread that out.
He don't move like it.
No, he doesn't. We're gonna give it a 5-0.
No, and he's also a high schooler too. Like that, his frame shouldn't be NFL yet.
All right, we're gonna give him a 5-0 there. Physical readiness. We're gonna put him at a 4.5. And I think the only thing that concerns me is just general, like initial technique when he gets to the next level, just like that initial change in speed, that kind of thing. It's hard for me to say a high school senior is a full 5-0. The closest thing I had to this, I would believe, is Caden Proctor. And even that guy got spun like a top. You know what I mean? He wasn't physically ready as a true freshman. So let's go 4.5 right there on that one. Technique, it's pretty raw right now. You know what else we didn't see? Saw no pass protection in that, no kick slide. We don't know what it completely looks like. We saw a clip or 2 of it. The inside stab, fell out on the speed rush, whatever it is. Let's put it at a 3.85. There's still some room to grow in that category right there. All right, so there's your technique score. Let's go to the athleticism. For a big guy, this is as good as it gets. There's room for improvement, but how could there not be at 300, damn near 400 pounds? All right, so a 4.65 is a really, really good score for a human being that's this big. I loved the pad level, boys. I think it was touch and go during some of the times, but when he wants to, some of those clips were short yardage. The bend is available. It's just not always there. So for me, I'm going to go a 4.25 in that category, all right? And then the violence. It was there in spades for me, boys. It was there in spades. I'm going to give it a 4.75 on the violence scale because he is absolutely trying to kill people. Hell, I think he broke a kid's face at one point in that film. The effort, I was pleasantly surprised for a football player this large. I'm going to give him a 4.50. And then the ceiling, boys. This ceiling is higher than anyone else's. The ceiling is a 4.95. I think we're some movement skills away from being a full-fledged 100% ceiling like an Amarius Mims. Amarius Mims, to me, high school evaluation, the absolute pinnacle. He would have been like a 4.95 on everything. He was just so good, so clean, so guaranteed to be a first-round draft pick coming out of high school. I just felt clean about that. All right, this total score comes out to a 4.60. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's the highest rated offensive lineman that we're going to evaluate tonight. We got 2 more left. We got Marcus Harrison and Malachi Tolliver, all right? And they're not going to quite live up to that one. Initial thoughts on my man, Neyer Daniels.
Everything is not advertised apparently because he's not advertised like what I just watched on film. I mean, that dude has everything that you're looking for in an offensive lineman. Like even anything that you would knock down about him, like you can see that the potential even there's room to grow and that he can get to that point.
My favorite thing about that, and that was like I would have already been on to the next eval. Like 2 clips, it's done.
Yeah.
But with these big guys and these big offensive linemen, I think a lot of times that violent score can get distorted because they are just so big that when they get their hands on them, if I get my hands on you for 3 seconds and I outweigh you by 125 pounds,
Play's over with.
It's going to look bad.
Yeah.
But as soon as he gets his hands on them, he's extending all the way through. He's trying to get them on the ground.
Yep.
And that effort, that violence, I mean, A+.
Hell yeah. Solid points all around. Our number 1 tackle, our number 1 offensive lineman, and I think the film speaks for itself. And all the metrics, man. Like again, this is a football player that 9 times out of 10 the whole industry is just salivating over. I don't understand why they're not.
It's got to be that he's from New Jersey. Like people just can't have watched him. There's no way.
I guess maybe we need to figure out if there's ever been a 5-star out of Bergen Catholic. I mean, they're a program that puts perennial guys. We're going to talk about another Bergen Catholic graduate later tonight that's starting his first college football game at the quarterback position. So it's a school that normally puts out players. So it's just weird to see it. Now this next guy, he's our other guy that's going to get a 5.0 on the frame scale. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. His name's Marcus Harrison. He is 6'8". He is 335 pounds, and he is clean. Okay, I'm talking about baby ankles, fat calves. Baby ankles, fat calves. Not a lot of violence in this football player. It's a Northeastern football player. This is a game tape. This is not a highlight tape. Okay, this is senior tape from this monster. And what I love, guys, is he's always in a good spot. Okay, well, check this out. This was a football player that Stacy Searles went up and saw this spring, and, like, I got to have him. As soon as he saw the in-person evaluation, didn't even see him in, like, full pads, saw him working out in a gym, and was like, oh, my God, like, holy hell, because he is massive. This is a really, really big human being that's light on his feet, okay? Does a great job of always consistently being in really, really good body positioning. Okay, watch how he always, every single one of these pass protection reps, okay, not only were we providing inside hand help here, all right, but all of these inside or of these pass rushing reps, you will see him maintain inside lean. Okay, why is that important? It will automatically prepare us for speed to bull when we get to the next level. If we're one of these football players that plays with no consistent body lean, no playing on our instep, no playing with an inside body lean, we're going to get bowled over. We're going to get bitched, all right, against bull rushes because we're freshmen, all right? But if we have good body lean, if we stay with good technique throughout the reps, all right, we're going to be able to survive. We're going to be able to survive. There it is again. Look at him providing inside help the entire time before washing out on that offensive tackle. Another one that's criminally underrated right here in Marcus Harrison, in my opinion. There you see some of the power uprooting a guy, taking him clear out of the picture, okay? I'm telling you, the violence score is lacking. Like that right there. Come on, man. Come on, man. I know this is difference, right? This is difference between I'm a killer and I'm a JAG. I'm just a guy, right? This right here, this next clip. Two clips. The next clip, dude, once we throw our hands, throw the damn thing. Don't place them. This is the difference. That's placing hands. That's placing pads. I want to see you throw hands. I want to see you throw pads. I want to see you fucking strike. All right? I do not want to see you catch. All right, that's finishing. That's good effort, but we didn't even finish with violence. All right, we got to find a switch, baby. And you know what's going to find that switch, right? Michael Williams running through your face 5 days a week. All right, that'll make you find a switch. You're going to either figure it out or you're not. All right, that's the only way to go. See right there, I know we're doing the job. I understand we're doing the job. I want to see you do the job excellently. I want to see you do the job violently, okay? I want to see you fight, strain, get after it, okay? It's there, though. It's there, though. I'm going to break out your calculators. I'm rescoring something right now as we're watching this. But you can see just the technique, the size, right? The athleticism, right? This isn't a big, lumbersome football player at 6'8". This is a guy that is always in good body positioning, all right? He plays with good lean like we talked about earlier. He's never overextended. That's a little bit of a hold right there from the big fella. I don't necessarily love that on the clip, but again, this is a singular game clip right there. That, to me, looked a little high. It also looked like he picked a side to me, all right? I know this is on the highlights, but, hey, I don't love this. Watch this. Watch his right shoulder, okay? He's squared up right now. Watch that. Boom, okay? Do we see that lean? That's what we call picking a side. When you're picking a side and you're not running through, all right, you're not running your face through the wall, you're deciding which shoulder you're going to pick to hit the wall. You either have a hurt shoulder or you have a preference, all right? And the preference means you're a little bit shy of contact. We can't have that. Can't have that at all, okay? But from a, hey, coach, what can you take that piece of clay and mold that dude into? This is about as good as it gets from one of these ceiling projection type deals. All right, we got a lot of show left to do tonight, so let's keep scoring this. I would hate to just cut Malachi Tolliver's tape, but I wouldn't, to be honest with you, because it's not been updated. It's not been updated. I don't even have junior full season clips, dude. I don't. So I'm going to get some shit from the in-state folks for that, but what am I supposed to – am I supposed to evaluate one game against Houston County from 2 years ago? Probably shouldn't.
No.
I don't think that's fair to the kid. I don't even think it's fair to the kid. Yeah, it's a totally different football player. I don't think it's fair to the kid to come out here and just give you my in-person evaluations. I don't think that's fair, especially when we've done the film for all the other guys. So let's go through this Marcus Harrison evaluation. Frame. We gave our boy Neyer Daniels a 5.0. I'm giving Marcus Harrison a 5.0. Okay. Physical readiness. I think he's physically ready. The violence is not there, however. All right, and violence is a big key to whether or not you're going to have your lunch money stolen week one when you get to college. All right, so physical readiness, we got to get that violence score ready before we're absolutely ready to run our face through a wall. By the way, you want to have something funny tonight, go back and see how many times and how many different ways I misspelled athleticism on tonight's show. I don't even know what the hell that is.
We also got a frame in there instead of frame.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Some doctor's scratch out here. Athleticism, guys, I was really, really pleased with how this joker moved at 6'8", 336 pounds. So we're going to give him a 4.65 in that category. The bend, I think he played really high, all right, but not as high as some of the guys we've seen tonight. So we're going to give him a 4.0, particularly the bend and the pad level and pass protection, I'm really fond of in that category for him. All right, violence. We're going to knock the violence score down. It was at a 4.0. I'm knocking it down to a 3.5. I thought you was a little soft on some of that film today. All right, technique. I think the technique's really clean. I think that's something we pointed out in this film study from him, a 4.5. The effort, I thought he played with good effort, just didn't play with the violence. I'm going to give him a 4.65 in the effort category. And then the ceiling. I think this is, again, one of these higher ceiling football players. When you have these type of metrics and this type of athleticism score, you're a 4.8. Give me what that totals out of.
Is that technique 4.55 or 4.50?
4.55.
All right. 4.48.
4.48. So right on that borderline, okay, of a quote-unquote 5-star. See this right here. So a 4.58 for Marcus Harrison. Now, what does that leave us with? That leaves us with Neyer Daniels at a full 4.60 leading the pack. All right. Marcus Harrison, you said 4.58?
4.8.
Oh, 4.48. Okay. Marcus Easley comes in at number 2 with a 4.53 on his overall score. Marcus Harrison, the man we just evaluated, came in at number 3 at a 4.48. Calhoun comes in at number 4, 4.35. Michael Unai comes in at number 5, 4.23. And I'll go ahead and tell you Malachi Tolliver came in at number 6 at 4.18. Now, here's the deal. Last year, I went through the big board, and I had a couple of takes, a couple of guys that y'all took in other positions that were sub 4.0 on the full metric average score. So that's like a barely serviceable, like borderline take guy that y'all were like prioritizing in some positions. There ain't none of this. Okay, I think every single one of these football players had an opportunity to play at equal level programs and chose to come to the University of Georgia. Those are wins. Those are not always, that hasn't always been the case, in my opinion, on the trail at the offensive line position the last 36 months at the University of Georgia. There's been some Matt Luke takeoff time. There's been some transition time between Sam Pittman and Matt Luke. There's been some transition time between Matt Luke and Stacey Searles now playing catch up because of the takeoff time for Matt Luke. So I think Stacey, all in all, I think he did a really, really good job this class. And he also did something that we ask about and we demand, we don't even ask, we demand on this channel, which is consistency, right? Are you consistently going about your business in a way that I can provide intel and I can look at and say, this is why you're doing that, right? And the why in that class was obvious. You better be a big old son of a bitch if you're going to come play for me. There ain't nobody in that class that's a quote-unquote little.
Oh, no, it's a whole lot of size. And then a good blend of different type of skill players, of different skill sets, I should say, of some guys that just want to violently be straight-up killers, and you got some other guys that are a lot more clean, or I shouldn't say a lot more clean, but cleaner profiles and whatnot. So I like the whole holistic view of this class.
One thing I've enjoyed about kind of watching Georgia recruit over the past few years, and it's different than, you got like Georgia and Alabama. They're like these two, where you got like your 18 core guys in another program, and then you take maybe 4 to 6 that maybe turn into something. Like, there are stories all the time, but like in reality, that coach might not believe that player is going to be something. He might enter the transfer portal. I can see the vision with every single one of these guys. Now, are all 6 of these guys going to become first-round draft? No. But, like, you can see the path. You can see the thought process. You can see the draw of all 6 of them.
And I think they all share common traits, but they're all uniquely different. The common trait being the size, the common trait being the tackle backgrounds for all 5 of these guys. But just to wrap a bow on it, I think the three highest rated guys on our list, Neyer Daniels, Marcus Easley, Marcus Harrison, I think those guys walk in day one and they get the opportunity to play tackle. I think Daniel Calhoun, because of the way he was recruited, the way, the priority that they placed in him, he's going to have the opportunity to play tackle. I just don't see it anymore. I waited, and everybody told me, hey, the weight will come off. He's eventually going to play tackle. He's eventually going to have all the twitch to do so. It just didn't show up. It never, and that's not to say that it might not show up at the next level. But I'm telling you right now, that kid's an SEC 3-year starter at offensive guard, and that's good enough for me. I never have to worry about anything. I know he's going to be really, really good. All right, borderline great. The only question of whether or not he's going to be great is whether or not he plays at 320 pounds. If that dude ever played at 320 pounds, you'd be looking at the next first-round draft pick. I fully believe that at the offensive tackle position. And who's to say he might not end up doing that? But I think he's an offensive guard as it sits today. Same thing for Michael Unai. And I think Malachi Tolliver is going to have to find a way to learn all five. I think if you're going to be this guy, if you're going to be the in-state mid-season take, you're going to be the in-state guarantee that guy's going to stick around for 4. If your opportunities to get on the field is very akin to what Austin Blaschke did here at the University of Georgia. You are here to be a damn good dog, all right, and you're here to grind your way out and overcome some of the – and I'm not saying Malachi Tolliver was dealt some bad hand physically. He's 6'6". He's 330 pounds. God gave him enough. All right. Some of the athleticism scores were drastically different than some of the guys that we watched tonight. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you're never going to play. You just got to overcome some things. Hey, speaking of overcome, come over with us to our national hour. All right. We're going to load up another hour of content here for you, including most of which Georgia topics. We got to talk about London Humphreys. We got to talk about Walter Nolan. We got to talk about a whole bunch of stuff here on the next hour. We'll see you in just a second. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to NBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in on another hour here on the Film Guy Network. Boy, I hope y'all like that. I think the chat was saying that you did. I know sometimes it can get a little deep in the weeds with regards to the evaluations of offensive linemen, but I ask you all the time, who out here doing it like that? I don't know if there's anybody out here doing it like that. And that's kind of our uniqueness. That's the way we do it. There's a lot of people that have found us over the last couple of weeks that have been asking, that aren't Georgia fans, hey, can you do that for us? Can you come over here and evaluate this? Can you break this down? Can you do some film work here? Just wait on it. Okay, just wait on it. I think we're going to break out some film study on some of these college football playoff games, and I think you guys will really, really enjoy that. But we do have another hour of content for you guys. We're going to talk about the latest on Walter Nolan. We're going to play a little game of Guess the Lines. We haven't done it yet. There is a college football non-New Year's Six bowl slate that is extremely, extremely intriguing for no other reason than we don't know what the hell's going to happen with none of these football games. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. Also want to give a quick re-rack and a re-thank you to our friends over at Prize Picks. Okay, if you haven't, go over to Prize Picks today. Use promo code Brooks, and you will get a 100% deposit match over there. So that's good stuff right there. Guys, just to recap the offensive line stuff, I am way higher on Neyer Daniels than they are. I'm way higher than Marcus Harrison is, or they are on Marcus Harrison. And I'm slightly lower on Daniel Calhoun than the rest of the industry. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But I went back and went through some of my hits and some of my misses over the years. And believe it or not, you would think like offensive line, like Brooks should know that. He should be like on those. I am. I got a bunch of hits, and I looked at it. Most of my misses are from guys that I went and saw in person. I don't know what that is, but guys that I said were going to be really, really good. For example, Elijah Pritchett. I thought Elijah Pritchett was going to be a dude. And Elijah Pritchett might still be a dude, but he's been sitting behind a lot of guys at Alabama, got beat out by a true freshman this year, almost hit the portal, still at Alabama now. So, like, the Elijah Pritchett thing ain't really, I'm not going to say ain't worked out yet, but it doesn't look like it was going to work out. I was huge on a kid named Eston Harris out of Alabama. I ranked him the number 4 offensive tackle in the country in 2021. And he started a game. I ain't played in a football game at Auburn, so I completely whiffed on that one. So there are a couple of guys that I saw and I projected really, really high. Like, most of them are hits. I had Devin Campbell, the number 1 interior offensive line in 2021. He's been a 2-year starter at Texas. Started as a freshman, started as a sophomore. Tyler Booker, obviously at Alabama, I had him as the number 2 interior offensive lineman. He's been a 2-year starter. Cam Dewberry, I had as the number 4 interior offensive lineman. He was a freshman All-American. I missed on number 3. I don't know what I was thinking about Addison Nichols.
Yeah. So you might be like a bad girlfriend, like one that when you're real close up person, you got problems or whatever, but you get away, you get on that Snapchat, that text message, it all looks good. Maybe Stacy needs to move in.
Yeah, that's a good little comp. I am the evaluator that loves the girl as long as I'm not on vacation with her.
Right.
Yeah, if I go on vacation with her, the relationship is screwed.
She's dragging sand into the house.
Yeah.
Messing up the couches.
Yeah,
screwing up the rental.
Just bitching about clothes on the floor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, you're in for one.
Making you wake up early and do a turkey trot.
Yeah, can't be doing that. Turkey trot. This sounds like personal experience. What is a turkey trot?
No, you don't want to talk about that. Turkey trot's like a Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving run.
I was like a
Thanksgiving
pumpkin patch.
Yeah,
Morning.
you got to run.
Oh no, running
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving morning,
Yeah.
bro. Get away from her.
Gone.
Get away from her. Get away from her. That is not good. She out here making your fat ass run on Thanksgiving morning. But nah, we got a great show for you guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribing, rate, reviewing. A lot of intel going on about Walter Nolan. A lot of people asking about Walter Nolan. I'm told via the chat, and it is correct. Yeah. News has just come out via Hayes Fawcett that says former Texas A&M defensive lineman Walter Nolan officially down to Oregon and Ole Miss. So Georgia missing out here. Georgia trying to make a late run per my sourcing. They had a slight chance at him out of high school, and the whole entire recruiting pitch was off development. And that was it. And this hasn't been a development recruiting pitch the entire time. I think if AJ Brooks here, the combination of both worlds would be Oregon. At Oregon, you could get a combination of development under Lupoy, the defensive coordinator up there, who also has a background in defensive line coaching. You can get the development there while also getting some of that Phil Knight cash.
I mean, for me, just kind of analyzing how Georgia has been in the transfer portal over the last few years, I think you know very quickly whether or not Georgia is either going to be getting a guy or if they're going to be instantly in on it and they're going to be heavily favored. Like Walter Nolan, while everybody wanted to link Georgia to the Walter Nolan sweepstakes, it was kind of like, oh, Ole Miss is a player, Oregon's a player. Oh, and by the way, watch out for Georgia. And Georgia typically isn't a program that's going to land those types of kids when they're getting in late, especially the transfer portal kids.
Yeah, Georgia's not like, at least in my experience covering the team, and there are some exceptions, obviously, there always are, but it's not like a set your hair on fire type of thing. It's a very, like the guys they're with, the guys they get, it's a steady thing. It's a progression. It's a relationship that grows and not Ole Miss comes in like guns blazing, Oregon comes in, and this, like, that's kind of what you need for a guy like Walter Nolan. Things can shift back and forth. That high school recruitment was a little weird, if I remember, like as well. Like,
Yes.
And I'd even go to say
went quiet like 4 months.
I'm not here to like be conspiracy or whatever, because I mean the report's out there, but like I don't think that means that anyone's done.
Yeah,
I don't think that means anyone's out of it, especially in this specific one.
No, that's a great point. I remember, fun fact, Sports Illustrated shot 3 different commitments for Walter Nolan. He used 0 of them.
Oh.
So there you go. A great little point right there. Sorry about that, Justin Nichols. Also, sorry about that Brooks Austin's bank account, because you know who got flooded with the receipts on that? Yours truly. So that was fun. I love doing those. I love working hard, shooting a commitment video, and then the kid being like, by the way.
Sorry to do this.
Not going there. At least when EJ Lightsey did it, it was like we shot his commitment video committing to Florida, and then he decommitted and came to Georgia. At least you posted it. You know what I mean? At least we got the views off of that. That was cool. But the Walter Nolan stuff was classic. Was absolutely classic. But that leaves me the next question. Where would you rather play and why? Would you rather go to Oregon or would you rather play for Ole Miss and what they're building this year?
I think as a recruit, I think Oregon is the more appealing place right now because you get a little bit of everything. You know, I've never been to Eugene or anything like that, but I've known that Oregon is a beautiful place and there's a lot of fun things to do out there. So I think you get that. You get the national title expectations with what Dan Lanning has built out there. You get consistency. You get continuity. You get some growth. Whereas Ole Miss, you kind of get a feeling of, I'm coming here to kind of play for myself a little bit, but maybe, just maybe, we hit lightning in a bottle and we fall face first into a national title contending team, which you might get next year.
Top sites in Eugene: the Eugene Saturday Market, the Owen Rose Garden. There's a Museum of Natural and Cultural History. I'm basically telling you, I'm pushing back on you. There's a lot to do in Eugene, Oregon.
Okay, well, when you do what my grandpa does when he wants to know what is there to do in a site, that's what you're going to get, I feel like. Like if you look up if you look up what is there to do in Athens, I guarantee you it's going to be like, oh, there's this museum, there's the Athens Botanical Gardens, there's Sanford Stadium, there's the bookstore.
That's fair.
Damn, bro got shots today. I hear you.
I'm just saying, like, Google's not going to say, oh, there's bars here. Like, there's also this over here. Like, you know what I'm saying.
Lots of hiking trails for my boy Walter Nolan out there in Eugene, Oregon.
Hey, man,
You know?
maybe he's a nature boy.
Hear any of that? Show me that Phil Knight money.
Hey, that's the real thing. You got some drip out there. Now, Ole Miss got drip too, though.
Hey, what if he's not a Jordan guy? You know? I can't do the green. The green's a bit much for me. Like, especially the green Jays with the big ducks on them.
Right.
They're fours too, so they're already clunky. And then we're gonna make some bitches greeny yellow. Like, that to me is a little bit much. But I already said it. I think the best combination of, hey, you can get like the money. Apparently, the word on the street is these Texas A&M guys didn't get the money that they were promised.
Yeah.
So a lot of people thought that this next decision was going to be based solely off of development for a lot of these guys. But a lot of these guys are trying to make up money that they feel like they lost because it didn't ultimately come to fruition. So some of these guys are trying to double down on the NIL efforts. I'm not saying that's the case here, but seems to be the case. It's one of the factors. It was one of the contributing factors coming out of high school for Walter as well. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Seems like both Ole Miss and Oregon are doing their fair share of spending that money right now too.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Which football team's more impacted by this decision?
Like in regard to Ole Miss and Oregon?
Ole Miss and Oregon. Who is like drastically impacted by landing Walter Nolan the most?
I mean, it's got to be Ole Miss, right? I mean, I'm kind of getting the feel of they're trying to be in an immediate contender next year with the transfer portal class that they're building. I think we've kind of been able to get that type of vibe from several programs over the last few years of like, what are you doing in the transfer portal? Who are you getting? And when you're getting a class like Ole Miss is, you very much get the feeling of they're trying to compete and push for a title next year, or at least do something better than what they have in years past. Where Oregon, I know it's only been 2 seasons, but it seems like Dan Lanning has already got that ship sailing smoothly to where they can keep on pushing forward and not really have much of an issue, not be on a go all in on a transfer portal kid to change it.
I can't quite remember how well Dan's first 2 classes were at the interior defensive line position. I just know that he kind of bolstered that roster initially with transfers like Jordan Birch.
Yeah. Like
really, really high level, like impactful football players. And that would be essentially what this is. What were you looking up over there? What do you got?
I'm going to go spin zone.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's Oregon, and I'm going to say it's because with this roster, like you went and got Dylan Gabriel to go win right now. You're going to a Big Ten that looks wide open. Like next year, Ohio State's got a new starter. Michigan is Michigan. I don't really like Michigan is beatable, especially for an Oregon team this year that faced however many ranked opponents that they did.
Yeah.
And they don't have a defensive line commit in the transfer portal yet. And no matter what type of freshman you got, no matter what type of redshirt freshman you got, I have a really hard time thinking, unless you're the elite,
that you're not going to take a step down there. Yeah.
That you're not going to walk into the Big Ten and just push people over with the lines they had on both sides of the ball last year.
Somebody mentioned the late recruitments, right? And I'm just thinking about something. I want to do a study on this, and I don't have time to do it today, but I was talking to Jeff Santel about this today. These football players that like flip-flop real late in the process, or that change their mind real late in the process, or, you know, wait until the last minute to make their decision. I wonder what the success rate on these football players is. And this is the only reason I asked this. Walter Nolan was a drag it out to the very end guy, right? Labius Overton was a very quiet drag. He dragged it out early. He like jumped in, like just immediately reclassed, got out early. Jermaine Burton dragged it out to like December 13th, flipped from LSU to Georgia. Jordan Birch dragged it out until the very last moment. Kamari Wilson down there at Florida dragged it out until like the day before signing day, was out on Instagram driving an M3 BMW, and everybody's like, oh, Florida. So like these football players, I'm just saying, like, if we were to track it over history of time, I want to do a little research and development on this, because I got theories. I got theories about these football players that are very flippy-floppy and very wishy-washy in a day and age where you're just allowed. You're just allowed to do whatever the hell you want and go wherever you want with no repercussions and no, you got to sit out a year. You can't go there. No, nothing. You just get to do whatever you want and go wherever you want. If you have a tendency to do that from an early age, I'm not going to say 9 times out of 10, but a lot of the time, based off what I just laid out in my mind, it just has a stigma to me about a lack of consistency, a lack of stick-to-itiveness, if you will.
I think it's definitely a double-edged coin, because there's 2 parts to it. One, yes, it's individualistic. You're flip-flopping towards that close. But also, there are college staffs that are willing to wait that long for you.
Yeah.
Georgia's that means that you're talented. I think the poster child for this right now is Travis Hunter at Colorado.
Yeah.
If we look at Travis Hunter, flip from Florida State to Jackson State on early National Sign-In Day, was flirting with UGA before that, probably going to be a top 5 pick next year. That's probably what's going to happen. But you're going to look back at his college career and go, okay, transferred to Colorado this year, played well at Jackson State, dealt with injuries this year at Colorado. And then when he eventually, maybe he has a great year next year, or maybe it's the same. That's not going to change his NFL evaluation, really.
Mm-hmm.
The athlete is who the athlete is. But as a college player, is that as successful as like what Malik Neighbors provided LSU? No.
Xavier Sorey was a National Signing Day guy. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, like, if you're, I know a lot of football coaches listen to this. If you're one of these guys, text me. I'm curious. I'm curious what your history on this is, because my history says if you're wishy-washy, you stay wishy-washy. Shouts out to, who's that, Migos? These hoes wishy-washy. Yep. So, yeah, watch out. Shouts out to the Migos. R.I.P. Guess the lines? Oh, we just talked about him. Xavier Sorey to Arkansas. Should we talk about this? I think it's a great fit. This is a great fit for him for this reason. They play a lot of backers. I went and watched like a quarter of them before the show today defensively, just skimmed it, just see what personnel groupings they were in. I think I saw 5 different linebackers playing. Like just a bunch of dudes.
I mean, we've seen it's kind of been one of those schools where if the Georgia player enters the transfer portal, already kind of have an inkling to like maybe Arkansas is going to be a player in this one. We've seen Latavius Burnett go out there. Jaheim Singletary is out there right now as well. We've seen multiple Georgia kids go out.
Is that working out?
I don't know. I know I saw him on the field quite a bit this season when I was watching Arkansas, but I don't know how well
You talking about a talented football player.
I love Jaheim Singletary.
I thought he was Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I thought he was 6'2" Travis Hunter, only at a corner spot. And then, immediately once it got to Georgia, it was like, this ain't going to work out.
But I think it's a good landing spot for him because obviously he's going to play a lot. I mean, if you're going to go to a place like Arkansas, you're going to be an immediate contributor for them. And it's a place where maybe you can flash a little bit more than most, and you're going to still be playing the SEC competition. And it's only going to do a lot more good for you potentially than it is hurt you in regards to your NFL draft stock.
I'll say this about Arkansas, too. They're taking a lot of these reclamation projects from the portal, from the Georgias, from Tennessee, whoever it may be. That's not the worst strategy. If you're sitting there at the lower tier of the SEC with the Jaheim Singletary's perfect example. I'll stand by that. Like that high school tape that had first round caliber stuff on it. Those ball skills still to this day top 5 I've evaluated. Why not take a shot on that?
No, I mean, you're going to see a lot of they used to do this in Division II when I was in college. You'd go into a game against West Alabama, and it's like, shit, there's Tyreek Hill. What's he doing here? Oklahoma State got kicked out, got nowhere to play. Oh, okay. Shit, that left tackle was a 5-star in the 2012 class. What's he doing here? He was at Texas. Got beat out, can't find nowhere to play. He's here now. That would happen back in the day because of what guys were trying to avoid. If they were sophomores or juniors and they had a problem go awry or something happened to them and they already have NFL hopes, like, just go play a year in Division II. Don't have to sit out. You immediately get to play. Now you're seeing all these retreads that don't work out immediately. Like they're already finding a new home and a new depth chart to climb. Like Jaheim Singletary. I just looked at it right now. It looks like he played in every single game this year. as a real contributor, which was not going to be the case at the University of Georgia this year. So you could argue that was a good decision for him because he's still putting SEC tape on, despite the fact it's not Georgia SEC tape. But does it really matter? Because not every NFL draft pick comes from Georgia, though it's a large percentage, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, so now there's proof to everything that they're pitching to these transfer kids, especially from Georgia, like the ones that I can think of. Latavius Burnett maybe didn't have as great of a year at Arkansas that he did at Georgia because he put together some really good games consecutively at Georgia, but still had a really good year. Matt Landers, I know that he had a stepping stone in between Georgia and Arkansas, but he dang near made himself an NFL draft pick after going to Arkansas, and now we have Jaheim Singletary, who's getting a lot of playing time and getting back in the mix as well. So I think it's a perfect place for them to go if they continue to produce that.
All right, let's play Guess the Lines. Man.
I'm sorry, Christian. It's going to be bad.
Christian, you're not here tonight. I wonder if you're watching the show. I'm surprised you didn't text me about the comment about your mom last night, which is even more open-ended now. So if you're listening tonight and didn't listen tomorrow night, you're really confused. So I better be getting a text message. But anyways, he's our resident gambler around here. He's the degenerate. He's the guy who's got money on every single game out here. All right, he's spread thin, just butter in every single roll that there is out there. But he's our resident gambler, and he has the winning tallies on Guess the Lines for the year. I mean, wipe me clean.
Yeah.
I think he beat me 5 out of 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think you got 1 week.
I think I got 1 week where I got him. So me and you might as well be two clueless, just idiots walking around the desert.
And what a perfect week, and what a perfect slate for this to happen.
Of just confusion.
Yeah.
This bowl slate is filled with confusion. And I think if you're someone who is out here putting money on these games, just call that number that they give at the end of all those ad reads. All right, just do it because you probably got a problem. All right, you need to get rid of that so your kids can eat dinner next month. No. But let's start it up. There's a bunch of non-New Year's Six bowl games that are damn elite. I mean, really, really good. Let's see if Jay Will and I have any chance at all to guess these lines.
All right, we got 10 New Year's Six bowl games here, and if you think you know any of the rosters, you are completely wrong. You know no one. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to your mom. Don't lie to us. You don't know. We're leading it off in the SRS distribution Las Vegas Bowl. Utah, Northwestern.
Utah,
Guess
Northwestern.
that line.
All right, I'll go first here. No Nate Johnson for Utah. I couldn't tell you a damn player one on Northwestern's football team. First official game as the named head coach for the former interim for Pat Fitzgerald. So going to have some juice there. Utah looked absolutely abhorrent down the stretch, but they are historically a better program. I think Vegas is going to favor them by about 3.5 points.
Is Cam Rising still day-to-day?
No clue. Has been day-to-day for months, for years.
That was
now.
more
Yeah,
so
for
a joke.
yeah, for years.
That's more
for
so a
years
joke.
now.
Oh, gosh. I feel like these are both kind of very similar styled football teams. Like, if they're going to win, they're going to win in the very same fashion of it's not going to be impressive. It's just going to be like, man, we grinded one out today, boys. Like, daps all around. So I think that Utah, my personal belief, I think Utah is the better football team. I don't think it's by that much. I think I'm going to go with 4.
All right. Well, I said 3.5, so I didn't say that much.
Jay Will gets it by half a point. It is Utah minus 6.5 at the
Wow.
time, at the start of this recording.
So you said a lot of dapping up. Good game, boys. I'm going to tell you right now, the dap game between Utah's roster and Northwestern's roster, hella suspect. That dap game is not very strong.
Some knuckles.
A lot of high fives. All right, not a lot of daps going on in that locker room. Just going to go ahead and say that. What's our next one?
The Duke's Mayo Bowl,
Hell
a
yeah.
classic. As always, North Carolina versus West Virginia. Guess that line.
Does a Carolina team have to play in this? Is that the rule?
I guess.
I think North Carolina was in it 2 years ago. South Carolina got the Mayo dumped on him last year.
Yeah, I mean,
And he enjoyed it.
yeah.
Shane Beamer really enjoyed that.
You got to play in it just for the potential fact that we can see a picture of Mac Brown covered in mayonnaise. Like that's it. But
That's your fantasy, huh?
yeah. Or I wouldn't say, I wouldn't go that far, bro.
Whoa.
Hold on. I guess I'll go first on this one. I don't think Tez Walker's playing in this one for UNC. Definitely don't have Drake May. That's basically all I can say about the strengths of UNC. I know that they got a good offense, defense not so much, but also I don't really know what all is going on at West Virginia right now either, to be honest, other than they had a okay year. You're playing in the Mayo Bowl.
Bro, Neil Brown was on the hot seat mega big time
Yeah,
this offseason.
so I'm
and managed to save his job.
I'm honestly shocked that they're in this picture, and for that fact alone, I'm going to say that UNC is favored in this football game, and I'm going to say that they're favored by 3 points.
All right, I got a question for you guys. Connor Harrell is the redshirt freshman quarterback out of Thompson High School that is going to start for UNC. Now, what is more common, white Dante or black Connor?
Neither.
Just never happens.
Yeah, it never happens.
Well, there's Dante who plays for the Milwaukee Bucks out of Kentucky or Duke. Dante DiVincenzo. White Dante, and Connor Harrell. Black Connor. I don't know very many of them. So just thought process.
Is this your analysis for the football game?
Yeah, give me West Virginia by 3 points.
Brooks killed it. West Virginia by 6.5.
Dang, wow.
So there you go. That's a dub. Shouts out to Black Connor.
I wasn't even close. Wasn't even sniffing it.
No. Holiday Bowl. Louisville, the Jake Plummer, Louisville Cardinals
Hell yeah.
versus the USC Trojans, who are starting who?
That's a fantastic question.
They're starting Miller Moss. It's the only guy on the roster.
Miller.
Left. Shouts out to Miller Moss.
Shouts out Miller Moss.
Elite 11 class of 2022.
Okay.
Maybe 2021. 2021.
Shout out.
Shouts out.
Guess that line.
Ooh. I'm up first.
Yeah.
Man. You can't be doubting the plumber, right? I mean, any tradesman like this, you have to just assume going to bring his lunch pail.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the plumbing industry, real dirty. You gotta have tough nostrils, gotta have a tough gut, good ass crack. Give me Jake Plummer by 5 in this football game.
You're in a similar range that I'm in for this one because I just think that with the amount of players that USC has lost over this time span leading up into this bowl game, and the fact that Louisville's kind of feeling like they're probably sitting pretty going into this. So, like, dang, we get to play a powerhouse like USC. We were dang near close to winning the ACC championship game. I think that this team still believes that they have a lot to play for. Not that Vegas really cares about that too much, but in my personal belief, I think that it's Louisville favored by 7.
Wow. J. Will gets it by half a point. Louisville minus 7.5. That was nice. Wow. And he's up 2-1. I just want to say,
Vegas thinks Lincoln Riley's a shit football coach, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, we had that whole conversation yesterday about Dante Williams, new Georgia defensive backs coach. And if he was, as we think, one of the only good things in that secondary, I mean, it doesn't even matter that it's Jake Plummer.
I should know the defensive hires that they've made. I know they paid a lot of money for them. I think a lot of guys took lateral positions for an upgrade in platform, meaning like you got a defensive coordinator that was a defensive coordinator at like a smaller school like Penn State in comparison to Limelight of USC. I don't know if that's exact. Will you do me a favor and Google who they hired as their DC? But their defensive staff, their defensive coaches have now like their new hires are already in place. They're out there, so this will be their first game like re-implementing things. Also, by the way, a lot of their weaponry in the portal. Raleek Brown in the portal, another wide receiver, the Michael Jackson, the third kid in the portal. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of these weapons, number 14 in the portal for them as well, the little gadget back that they had, not Zachariah Branch, but the other kid, he's in the portal as well. Do you have anything on that for me?
Yes, he is the former UCLA defensive coordinator. He took over in this year.
Yeah.
They were ranked 87th in defense last year.
He's a young cat, isn't he?
Yeah, it says they were ranked 11th in defense this year.
Isn't he like 32?
Yeah, I think right here it says he's –
because I remember hearing about Chip Kelly finding this guy and choosing – I think his dad was a coach too. You got his name?
Danton Lynn, I think is
Lynn. He's Anthony Lynn's son.
Whoa, okay, there you go.
Yeah, Anthony Lynn, golly, I chose the right job.
34.
I chose the right job, man. My brain can't do that for nothing, on nothing else. But for some reason, I can remember they hired a 34 or 32-year-old that's son of Anthony Lynn. I don't know why my brain does that.
And it's Anthony Lynn,
yeah,
who was not that memorable.
No, I mean, he was a really good defensive coach for a long time and then just kind of flamed out as a head coach with the Chargers. And I think is still a defensive coordinator in the NFL right now, actively. So, yeah, a long lineage of good football coaching out there that is now their defensive coordinator. That being said, it makes sense. I think Louisville's going to roll in that football game just because Jack Plummer versus Miller Moss, boy, find you something else to watch. Binge some Suits. I'm just going to let you know on that one. On to our next one. What we got?
All right, Jay Will up 2-1 right now. Before we even get into this, good luck to both of you because I couldn't pick this for the life
What
of
in
me.
the world is going on right here? I guess ESPN's now going to charge a $30 subscription a month to watch their stuff. That's crazy. Y'all come join me over here. Like, subscribe, rate, and review, and who needs ESPN?
Yep.
Good God Almighty. What were you at? Sorry.
The Tax Act Texas Bowl. Texas A&M versus Oklahoma State. Guess that line.
My man said Texas A&M versus Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Ding. It's the spit cup.
So we determined before the show that Ollie Gordon is playing in this football game.
Correct.
Texas A&M is getting plagued by the transfer portal right now. A lot of key contributors for them going out. So I'm honestly going to say, like, in years, like, in this prior to this, into this season, I would have said like Texas A&M just based off the pure talent that they have on the roster. But that pure talent is also not there. But I also know that lines necessarily aren't moving a whole lot based on what the action in the transfer portal is happening. So I'm going to say that Texas A&M is favored in this game. I'm going to say that they're favored by 2 points.
First game under Mike Elko. Vegas wins either way in this one, I think, because whoever's putting money on this is doing it ignorantly, like completely ignorantly. By the way, who's playing? Is the freshman playing quarterback for Texas A&M? Because there's no Max Johnson, there's no Connor Weigman.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the freshman playing. I think Oklahoma State's favored in this game by 2 points.
Jay Will hit it exactly.
Damn.
Boom.
3-1. That's insane. Let's just move on.
Some good work right there, Jay Will.
All right.
Kirby would be proud.
Yeah. In a bowl that might be more anticipated than the actual national championship this year.
Chill out.
We got the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Oh, dude, hell yeah.
Yeah, you know what that
Hold
was
on,
going to
Before
be.
you
right
do this,
now.
before you do this, favorite Pop-Tart, how do you eat it?
Brown sugar cinnamon in the microwave, 35 seconds. That's it.
You don't pick corners around. You just eat it. Or you just eat it how you eat it. You don't avoid crust or eat crust first.
No, bro.
All right.
It's Pop-Tart. I'm
just
eating the whole
eat it.
Pop-Tart.
Strawberry
How you go?
Pop-Tart.
Okay.
Go from, if you got the Pop-Tart like this,
Yeah.
top right corner,
Yeah.
just go all the way down. Kind of work it like a beaver.
Work the side.
Yeah, work the side.
And then eat it whole. Eat across the dam.
Yes, sir.
I like that style. I like how you work. Here I am. Standard OG Pop-Tart. Okay, the strawberry one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Little knob of butter. 15
Whoa.
seconds in the microwave. On mama and everything I love right now to change your life. It'd be a little hot coming out, so you might need a fork. But if you want to let that sucker cool, you can. But I'm going to tell you right now, Pop-Tart in the microwave, slab of butter on it. Not a ton, just a little knob. Just a little knob, a little dab will do you on that right there.
I was under the impression, I didn't even say I put mine in the microwave. I was just assuming we were all doing that in 2023. People not
Now,
doing
people
that?
be eating cold Pop-Tarts,
People be
man.
eating cold
I'll
Pop-Tarts?
raw dog Pop-Tart.
Yeah,
If you have
if
to.
you got
yeah.
to, like, if you're in a situation like, oh, I got to grab something to eat, let me grab
Yeah.
a Pop-Tart, like, yeah, absolutely. But if I'm going to sit down in the morning and eat a Pop-Tart, absolutely popping it in the microwave. Got to.
Got
Got to. Anyways, Pop-Tart Bowl.
Pop-Tart Bowl, edible mascot, NC State.
Wait a minute. You can eat the Pop-Tart mascot.
Why do you think I said people were waiting for more than that? That's a whole thing on the internet. You can eat the mascot. First ever edible mascot. And I think my mate, I don't
Where's
want
this game being played?
Where?
Boy, you might take a. I'm trying to eat a. I'm trying to eat a human Pop-Tart.
Now I got your interest.
I am. I'm intrigued. Is this a Gasparilla Bowl? Where's this at?
It's Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida.
Hey, we'll go see Disney World after we eat a human Pop-Tart. I'm down.
NC State
NC
versus
State,
Kansas
K-State. What do you got?
Yeah, I went first last time.
All right, I got
Yeah,
K-State -3 in this football game.
You were quick with that.
K-State, no quarterback. The Will kid
Neither of these
in the
teams
portal.
do, right?
Yeah, no. NC State, I think, still has Brendan Armstrong on the roster, don't they?
Oh, I forgot about him.
So they got the savvy lefty, you would imagine. MJ Morris
Southpaw.
transferred to Maryland. But I think he transferred to Maryland because he basically told them to piss off. I'm not playing for you after you brought this kid in to start over me. So yeah, I got K-State, favored by 3. Just a better program all around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think K-State's in a better position coming into this football game, even though they are going to be without their starting quarterback, Will Howard. I just think that Kansas State is one of these programs that is consistently better than NC State's. NC State kind of sprinkles in those 9-win seasons every now and then.
Yeah.
But just a bigger brand at this point. I think Kansas State's honestly favored by a little bit more than what you're thinking. I think they're favored by 5.5.
You'd be wrong. Brooks gets this one. K-State -2.5 at the start of this recording. Moves to 3-2 in favor of J-Will. Next, we go to the Alamo Bowl. How about this? The Oklahoma Sooners are playing the Arizona Wildcats.
Two good football teams here.
Shout out Arizona. Guess that line.
Teams.
All right. So I've been absolutely impressed with Coach Fish and them out there in Arizona. Oklahoma, Venables, you were looking great at the beginning of the year and then kind of slipped off there at the end. Also don't have Dylan Gabriel, so that's a knock against yourself as well. And I just think, again, when I think about this football game, I think about Arizona feeling like they have something to play for, something to continue to prove. They ended the season on a high note. So I think the Wildcats are favored in this one, and I think they're favored by 3.
So Oklahoma was the football team that beat the shit out of Florida a couple years ago when Florida didn't really play a meaningful game, right? Is that the case?
I think so, yeah.
Wasn't it Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is the same thing in inverse. I think Brett Venables in this football game, starting Jackson Arnold for the first time, he's going to be, I'm not going to say experimenting with his roster, but he's going to be trying to look at what his roster will ultimately be next year. I think Arizona's roster is what it's going to be next year. I think everybody that doesn't have eligibility left is going to play their last football game like it's their last football game ever. And the other football players are, like you're talking about, going to be building on momentum on this program. This is a message around this football team that I would imagine has everything to do with building. We have got to continue to carry over what we have earned this year, okay, and finish out strong with this football game. I like Arizona in this football game favored by 2 points.
All right, I zoned out for one word. Did you pick Oklahoma by 3 or Arizona by 3?
Arizona by 3.
You got it exactly.
Ooh.
Boom.
4-2 in favor of J.
I'm either on it or I'm not at all. That's kind of how it's going.
Let's take a pause in the action right here to give you a KJ Bolden update. This comes directly from sources that I trust. This is coming from Georgia sources, obviously. We are still all in, Still feel like it's a big ask this late, though. Whole staff is on him, offense too. Don't think Georgia's necessarily confident, but they are persistent and they are present as this one comes down to the wire. I think one thing that's been obvious about the KJ Bolden sweepstakes is that no one's ever felt good about it.
Yeah.
Even Florida State throughout. I think the other thing that's been very, very interesting and intriguing about this evaluation, I think there's 3 schools at play, right? It's Florida State, it's Georgia, and it's Auburn. You talk to all 3 of those 3 schools, I guarantee you they have a different plan on what they want to do with him. I bet you Georgia's probably like, we don't know whether he's going to be a nickel. We don't know whether he's going to be a corner. We don't know if he's physical enough to play safety. I guarantee you get a similar eval from somebody else. And then I guarantee you Auburn might be looking at him and saying, we think he might be a receiver. Like, this is an extremely talented football player that's sitting here today, having watched that guy for 5 years now. I saw him for the first time. I remember when he made his commitment announcement, I sent the first photo I ever took of him. It was in 2019. Okay, 2019 was in 8th grade. He was playing, 7-on-7 for Hustle Inc., and you knew immediately this is going to be a guy. But we've never figured out what he's going to play. I think he's the best deep safety, field safety I've ever seen. Center field safety, the ability to cover as much ground as he does and track the football as he does, elite. But the box play, you don't know what it's going to develop into. You don't know what it's going to turn into because, granted, he's 180 pounds. Like, if there's one question about this is what is the physical development going to turn out to be. But ultimately, this is one of the best athletes available in this class. The tape is explosive as shit, but you don't know what you're going to do with him, and you don't know where he's going to land. It's been a very, very interesting one for me, but one that you take and you prioritize and you do what Georgia's doing right now. You throw everything on the table as much as you can at the very last minute.
I mean, it would make sense then why this recruitment has kind of felt like it keeps on springing along and going along. Because if you are talking to, let's say, 3 schools it is, and Georgia wants to tell you one thing, Auburn's telling you a different thing, and FSU is kind of telling you a mix between the two, you would then kind of understand like why it is a difficult decision to make, even if you are currently committed to a program, because it's like, well, this is the biggest decision of my life, and I'm kind of getting pitched a variety of 3 different things, so I really got to contemplate things and make sure that I am making the right decision for myself.
Facts. All right, we got 4 more games to pick. Let's get after them.
Mm-hmm. Gator Bowl, Clemson versus Kentucky. Guess that line.
Let's be quick. Clemson by 3.
I think it's Kentucky by 2.
Brooks gets it 4-3. Jonathan.
Hell yeah. Sun
Bowl, Oregon State, Notre Dame. Guess that line.
I'm going to say Notre Dame by 3.5.
We looked at it today. Oregon State has no quarterback.
Yeah, we just don't really know.
DJU in the portal. The backup going to Michigan State. They have no head coach.
Lost their best corner.
They lost their best wide receiver. Notre Dame by 5.
Brooks gets it. Notre Dame by 6.5. Tied up 4 apiece. ReliaQuest Bowl. Wisconsin versus LSU. LSU obviously without Jaden Daniels among others. Guess that line.
You're up.
No, it's you.
Okay. The amount of backup quarterbacks playing in these bowl games is absolutely nuts.
Laughable.
This is Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier? Garrett Nussmeier. We call him Nuss around here. Garrett Nussmeier going against who knows? Is Tanner Mordecai back from Wisconsin?
I don't
I don't think so. Was that a season ender? Who knows? But, hey, if there were ever a get-right game for your offense that was supposed to be better than what you performed this year, this is it for Wisconsin. All right, this LSU defense is Swiss cheese out there. Give me SEC bias. Give me LSU by 1.
Okay. Nutsy and the LSU Tigers. I'm going by 4.5.
Jonathan gets it. Can you believe this? I had to double check this to start recording. LSU was favored by 10 points.
Wow.
Holy
They really
smokes.
think Wisconsin's offense is that bad?
What happened to Luke Fickell this year? We can't just blame it on a quarterback injury.
Yeah.
We just can't do that.
Don't know.
All right, 5-4. We've got a tiebreaker on the board. If it needs it, Jonathan or who's up? Did he just?
I'm up. Right.
Whatever.
I'm up right now.
All right.
5-4. Jonathan. Citrus Bowl final game.
Need it bad.
Tennessee versus Iowa. Jonathan, you're going first. Guess that line.
Jeez, dude. This is so – oh, gosh. I don't even know what to think about this bowl game whatsoever, but I want to know – I do think that Tennessee is favored in this game, but I think it's by very small margins. I think it's like Tennessee -2.
I'm automatically going to tell you I think Iowa's favored in this football game. Here's what I gotta say. Joe Milton, if you're listening, baby, you don't need to be playing in this football game. Okay, if there's any questions about your draft evaluation, about processing, about whether or not you could see the field, about whether or not you could read zone coverage, about all those things that we got questions about, this is the worst one. Don't go out and play Iowa. They're going to turn you over so many damn times. And on the flip side, I could not imagine a worse first career start for a football player than against Iowa. Like, it's not that they're so good physically. It's not that they're physical. It's not that they're going to beat your ass up. It's that they're going to make you look stupid. They're going to make every young quarterback look stupid. That's what they do. That's their whole defensive model. They disguise coverage better than anybody else in college football. They play better in tighter zone coverage than anybody else in college football. So if you think Joe Milton, you're going to improve your draft stock, I say nay. I say it's very, very more likely that you're going to have a rough day out there at the office. And for a true freshman in Nico, that really, really scares me. I think Iowa's favored in this football game.
Tennessee's favored by 8.5.
Jesus Christ.
Let's go.
I'm an
Sealed
idiot.
Jay Will takes it 6-4.
I am an idiot. Give me Iowa on the money line. I'm with the chat. I think Joe Milton's a turnover machine in that football game. I think Nico Yamovale is a turnover machine in that football game.
Perhaps all these car rides with Christian finally paid off or something.
Or you cheated.
I did not cheat. Don't you dare do that to me.
I'm
Had
just
to
saying.
go right.
Do
to
not-
it. Had to
I'm
go
gonna
Don't
right.
come
to
pissing
it.
on my parade when I'm standing in the sunlight for once.
I'm just saying, dog. I'm going to throw it out there.
For once, I wasn't the side piece in the game.
I think you might have cheated. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate, review. And tonight we are on the road to 20,000 subs. When I first started doing YouTube stuff, dude, this was a pipe dream. Like, never thought this was ever going to take off. Never, like, sometimes we look down, there's only a couple hundred people in here. We're sad. We're, like, upset. When I first started doing YouTube streams, it's like 30 people, 40 people showing up. And, man, I'm thankful that I'm thankful to me and my wife that we kept my head above water enough to, like, continue to try. Because there's a lot of times I wanted to quit. But now it seems like we're in this area of time in this show's network where people bump into us and they're like, man, you guys are doing such great stuff. The growth on your platform, man, it's something to really aspire to have. And I'm like, shit, y'all should have been here 5 years ago, dog. Y'all should have been here 5 years ago when this shit was tough.
Shoot, you should have been in here in NBR week 1 of college football.
Oh, that's true.
Doing those, that it was like, all right, we got 45 people in here, but we kept going.
Was
and
it
now
really
look
like
at us.
that?
Yeah.
We really have 45
It was
people
like
watching
50
that?
people, maybe 70 on a good night in the first week or so.
Yeah. If you saw us I see some of the chat right here talking about seeing your boy on snaps today. Yeah, I was telling y'all in the group chat, every time I go on, or maybe it's just in Discord, every time I'm a guest, I'm there to pillage village and pillage the village. I'm there to steal, kill, and destroy. All right, I am there to steal audience members. I am there to kill takes, and I am there to destroy your opportunities of anybody else getting hired other than me. That is what I am there to do.
Damn.
Okay. So yeah, if you're inviting me on your channel, just clear space because I'm fitting ISO. Sorry. Sorry. Hey, it's just me, man.
I want it on the wing.
Attacking every single opportunity. That's what you got to do. Every single opportunity, you got to attack. And, you know, I try not to talk over guests or talk. Well, in that case, I am the guest. But, you know, some freedom coming with the fact that you're the guest. Also, told it for another time on Snaps, and it sounds like we're going to do it in Miami. I'm going to out-throw Aaron Murray. Within the next calendar week, I'm going to throw circles around my boy.
I'm so mad I don't get to be there in person for
Do you
it.
just want to go? You don't have credentials. Do you just want? I have 2 beds in the hotel room. Do you just want to go? It's 6 days.
6 days to go watch. Either you embarrass Aaron Murray or Aaron Murray embarrass you. I don't know.
Ain't going to be no embarrassing of me. I'm going to tell you that right now. Worst case scenario, the former NFL football player outthrows the former D2 center. That's it.
Dude,
that's worst case scenario.
I'm just picturing that on a headline right now, a news headline. Former D2 center outthrows SEC all-time leading passer.
Oh, no, he's getting namesake. It's going to say Aaron Murray. Oh. He's getting namesake. Former D2 fat guy. That one's not going to get it. That one's not going to get it. That one's going to get subliminal messaging. But, yeah, dude, we're going to absolutely cook Aaron Murray. I'm going to throw circles around my boy.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am too. So do you want to go? I'm dead serious. I got to buy a ticket for you soon. A plane ticket. That's the only thing.
Got to think.
And then plane ticket's steep. Hey, that's going to be it for us tonight. We have a whole 3.5 hours, 4 hours, however long it takes, Super Day or National Signing Day Super Show tomorrow. I know you're going to have a ton of options for content. You should pick us. I promise you. Because what you got tonight in terms of offensive line evaluations, we got 18 more guys to do.
Yeah.
We got 18 more evaluations to do and a whole lot more position groups. Make sure you're coming to